This is the Freedom Doctor welcoming you to this show, the Freedom Fridays. And today we will be talking about a topic really close to my heart and something I've been thinking about all this week. And I really want to talk to you about this topic because I think most of us deal with this issue in some way. The topic today is worthiness, and I am here to tell you that you were born enough. So why do I say that? First, I say that we were born enough because when we came to this planet, we already had a divine purpose, and that purpose is to grow and figure out our contribution to this world. But before I jump into today's topic of being born enough, I want to first say that this is the way that this show will go. First, I'll talk about the topic, being born enough, and then after the after this talk is finished, there'll be a short question and answer session. The question and answer session will be about 5 to 10 minutes and will be based on the questions I get from before this talk or during this talk. And it'll be the number that we use. It will be this number that we use to contact me. So the number to get your questions or comments to me, because I can't see the comments and questions on Facebook, is I can't see the questions and comments on Facebook because of the streaming service I'm using. Is 347-463-6655. So again, I'm going to call out that number. It is yeah, I'm so sorry. It is that's not the correct number, y'all. Please forgive me. It's 732-359-2293. So that is the correct number. Again, I'm going to say the number. I'm going to say the number 3 more times, just so I can help myself, because we're going to try this again. The number that you call, that you can text your questions or comments to me, and it'll go straight to my phone, is 732-359-2293. Again, that number is 732-359-2293. Again, that number is 732-359-2293. And it's okay if you don't have a pen right now. I'm going to call out that number again throughout the show, just so you can follow along with me and contact me. I mean, in a way that works for you. I'll be calling out that same number so you can contact me. So how about that? Good, very good. Okay, so today's topic is being born enough. And when we think about being worthy, we think about whether we are enough. We ask ourselves, or some of the comments or questions that we say to ourselves are, this won't work. I'm not good enough, as in, like, I don't have the gumption, I don't have whatever it takes to achieve a thing. Or you may question yourself in various ways like that. You may have this message in your head that in some way you don't have the self-worth, you don't have enough whatever type of value that you think. And I'm here to tell you you do and explain to you what could be happening in your mind so you can get free of those thought patterns of not enoughness. So when we think about not enoughness, you know, that this feeling could actually be a lack of like self-worth. It could be a lack of self-esteem, which is how we feel about ourselves. It could be a lack of self-belief, which is what we believe is possible for ourselves. It could be many things, but all of these feelings are rooted in this practice of putting what's possible outside of yourself. And I'll explain. So I want to take us back to um, being born. When we're coming to this planet as babies, we are coming as a being that is interpreting the world through our senses, our hearing, if we can hear right, if we can see, and even if we can't do even if we don't have an ability of sight or hearing, we feel. We may be able to feel and interpret um, the world through our feeling devices. And from those ways of interpreting the world, right, we are coming up with our own aspect of what is possible in this world. And it is as we interact with others, as we interact with our world, that we receive messages of what is possible and what is not possible from the people who love us or the people who are around us in our communities, whether that is our family of origin, church, on the playground, in the school, in the gym, you name it. As we grow, we trade our worldview of like what we see, what we know, our knowingness, right? Our beginning knowingness for that knowing that knowledge of what is possible from other people. Like in short, what I'm saying is that so for to give a good example. So in this world, you may have came with a gift of creativity where you can put things together in a way that shows people their beauty, their strength, their purpose even. But you may have not been born into a house that respects or honors that gift. And for example, you could be born whatever gender, and this could be true that people don't honor what you're bringing, but you already had that, even if that you had that gift that wasn't taught to you, and you can learn people by not honoring a part of you. You can learn that the things that you bring is not good enough. So that is the beginning of putting our evaluation of what's possible outside of ourselves. And I want to start from there, right? So the beginning of losing our power is when we came to this earth, right? And we had a way of interpreting the world. And and the people we interact with gave us their version of what is possible. So we either decided to accept that version of possibility or reject that version of possibility and keep on crafting the world as we see fit. If you're like me, you're wondering where you fit in that, and that's good. And I want to stop and tell the people who just came on the Google Voice number that we'll be using to contact me with questions or comments. And that number is 732-359-2293. Again, that the number for the question and answer hotline, this is the Freedom Doctor hotline, y'all, is 732-359-2293. Again, the number to the Freedom Doctor hotline to connect with me directly and send your questions or comments right to my phone is 732-359-2293. Okay, so where I was going with this is that so if you've heard what I just said, you may be thinking about whether you are a person who accepted people's possibility version or rejected people's possibility version. And I want to say, what I think is more important to focus on is the possibility you're living in your best possibility, okay? So look, we're gonna focus on that. Okay, so in getting back to my lesson, we are talking about being born enough and the feeling of enoughness and what does that mean? So we came to this world interpreting the world through our own lens until other possibilities were introduced to us that we either accepted or rejected. And that is how we, the beginnings of what I'm calling outside evaluation of worthiness, of our own worthiness, our own enoughness came from, right? And we had a purpose or gifting that was on us, and that was on us outside of the possibility version people gave to us, right? And when we chose to honor people's possibility version, we then went wherever that took us, or we didn't, right? And so I want, instead of worrying about if we didn't take people's possibility version or we took our possibility version, I want us to ask ourselves, is the possibility that you are in now the best possibility for you? Because that's connected to your feelings of enoughness, right? If you're living in the best possibility that you are, then that's good. Then your feeling of enoughness is balanced, I think, with the divine path that you were put on. So what are blockages to this then? Like how can I know, how can I feel enough, right? That's what I'm going to answer for you now, even more. And how I'm going to do that? I'm going to do that just through explaining different ways that may be blocking you from feeling enough. And so you can get back to that feeling of, or that purpose really that you came here to do, that you were born here to be, and yeah. So the first blockage to enoughness, I think, is comparison. And you may say to yourself, Roman, like, what do you mean about that? What do you mean about that, Roman? Like, how can comparison block you from feeling enough? Here's what I think, right? So whenever we compare ourselves to other people, for example, you may have insecurities about how you look, and you may have struggled with this all your life. And when you see people who you may feel look better than you may say, "Oh man, that person looks so handsome, and that person looks so beautiful. I don't look beautiful like them," right? You block your power of manifesting the beauty you came to bring in this earth, right? Um, and that's an example. So think about what you compare yourself against, people, right? Because the point of this exercise is not for me to tell you what you compare yourself against, it's for you to gain self-knowledge and ask yourself, where does this fit for you? Because if you do this and you feel that it's linked to you not being enough, then okay. If you don't feel, then that is why the application of wisdom is important, right? So you see what is true for you, and you go with that knowing. Okay. Um, with that, the second point I'd like to bring up is another blockage to enoughness, I think, is circumstance. So um, you may also ask yourself, Roman, like, how does circumstance or circumstances block you from feeling enough? So I'll tell you like this. I think circumstances is the most common of these that block people from feeling like they are enough. So when we come to this world, we may say to ourselves, "Man, like I wish I had a specific thing. Like I wish I had um, a family who honored my gifts, or I wish I had a wife who heard me better, or I wish I had a husband who who did who did this or who did that for me, or I wish I had kids who listen." Right. So I want you to place in your mind whatever circumstance right now maybe you're limiting, as far as being in that possibility of life you want to be and being enough to have that life, right? So, and the last one is circumstance. So I'm going to go through each of these actually in more detail and tell us how we get through them. But first, I would like to present to you the last blockage to enoughness: complacency. Oh, when we think about this, people may really be flustered by this one. They say, you may say, how does complacency get in the way of feeling like um, feeling like I'm enough, right? And I'll tell you, but I'm first going to say the number again, just in case people are the Freedom Doctor hotline number to connect with me or contact me directly and ask your questions or present your comments. You can text 732-359-2293, and we'll get to those questions and comments at the end of the show. Again, it's 732-359-2293. Okay, so going back to that comment I was saying, how you may ask yourself, how does complacency block me from feeling enough? So some of us, as we go through life, we have certain experiences that really make us feel limited, make us feel like there are only a few choices available to us, and that it's impossible to get around those choices in our lives. And then in that, we get used to what's being available, what we feel is available to us. And we say, wow, you know, these two options or these three options or how many options we have um, is all there is, right? And so we get used to it, we get stuck in those options, and then that is how we become complacent. And in that complacency, um, we've we when we don't feel enough in choosing, you know, that comfort, we might say, oh, you know, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel enough to change my situation. I don't feel enough to change my situation because, you know, I like it, you know, but I know I want something different. I like my situation and I would change it, but, you know, it seems like this is it, right? And I'm here to tell you that whenever you get, whenever you are get comfortable in the options that are presented to you and you feel like you want more, but you don't move, you don't take action, I think that's when complacency can show up to block you from feeling enough. And really feeling enough, this is the secret, it's about feeling powerful, right? When we don't feel enough, we feel powerless. We feel less power than we feel like we ought to have. And so I'm going to talk now about each of these three things and how we can get around these so that we can feel enough. So as it relates to, which one did I say first? As it relates to comparison, how can we get out of comparison? And remember, each of these things, anytime that you don't feel enough, you are placing your power outside of you. You are accepting the possibility of some event, some person, some thing, and moving your power from yourself, from your divine self, your God-given center, right? You, right? Your divine given center is you, is who God made, your spirit, to something else, right? To someone else, to some event, to some person, and so on. So when we compare ourselves, we're saying that another person has more power than us um, to create whatever experience they're wanting through whatever they have. But what I'm telling you, if you see that something is on a person like beauty or wealth or discipline, that you can have that too. Because if you can see it, I think it's possible to manifest it. And although you may not manifest it in a way, you may not arrive at the point of manifestation that you would like, I still think the the effort to get to that place is an exercise in self-worth. It's an exercise in enoughness, right? And one way that you can get outside of comparison, right, is saying to yourself, like, in me, I'm enough. I'm good as I am. I'm good as I am. And everything I do is enough. I'm good as I am. And everything I do, everything that I am is enough. I'm good as I am. And everything I do is good as it is. So it's important to affirm the power and the presence that you came with in the work that you do in this life, to remind yourself that you're powerful, that you can do it, that everything is possible according to the purpose that you were given, okay? And the second one I would like to get to is circumstance. It's so easy to place our power outside of ourselves to what we think we see. But as soon as we realize this one truth, we can get free from our circumstances and get back to that feeling of enoughness that we came with, that we originally had, which is the same thing as being clear about our purpose, being empowered in our purpose, right? One way to get outside of your circumstances is to name your circumstance something else. So you may say, oh, I'm just using this example. It may not be true for you. And this is not necessarily my example either, right? You may say, oh, I didn't get the family, or I didn't get the love from my community support systems that make it possible for me to, that make it possible for me to consistently feel like my circumstances are aligned with my purpose. Okay, if that's you, I want you to affirm to yourself that this affirmation: I can name my circumstances. I can name my circumstances the thing I need to feel enough. I can name my circumstances the thing I need to feel enough. I can name my circumstances the thing I need to feel enough. And you may say, okay, like, how does this look, Roman? How does this look in the world as you're moving in that affirmation, right? Okay, so in that example of like, oh, I don't have the love I need to feel enough, you can tell yourself, oh, I may not have had the love I needed in life to feel enough, but I'm calling that the secret to my power, that I'm loving, right? That I am the community I need, that I'm the community for others. And because if you didn't receive something in life that you think you may need, it may be directly connected to why you're here, so that you can give more of that to the world, because the absence sometimes intensifies, right, the purpose. So I want you to see your circumstances as gas to the flame of who you are, right? I want you to see your circumstances as gas to the flame of who you are and what you came to do in this world. Okay, I'm doing this to ground myself. Don't mind my hands, right? This is how I ground myself. The last one is complacency. And you may say, okay, how can I get around my complacent feelings of not being enough? If you can see that the life you're living now is not the life you want, then you already have half of what you need to get there. You know what the next part of that to feeling enough is? Do something about it. You have to do something about it when you feel that the space that you're in life is comfortable enough to live in, but not comfortable enough to do anything about. You have to get uncomfortable and do something to get you to that next level. And you have to heal that that message in you that says that you're not worth moving up in life, wherever you want, moving up in love, moving up in trust, moving up in finances, moving up and exploring life more to the fullest, moving up in your self-expression, moving up in your relationship with your family, moving up in those different ways, right? And I'm going to repeat that same number that I've been telling you all about. To just text this number if you would like to ask me a question or a comment. You can text 732-359-2293. Okay? So they'll be open for you to text. You can text it now if you need to, but I'll be getting to that at the end of the show. Okay? So I have now presented to you 3 blockages to feeling enough, right? And I'm telling you, the secret to feeling enough is to center yourself in your knowing, right? And affirm yourself in your knowing so you can get back to that feeling of enoughness. So what else do I have for you today? What else do I have for you today? What else do I have for you today? I know what I have for you today. I want to leave you, I would love to leave you with this. And I'm going to leave you with this question. And I'm going to just sit for 30 seconds as a symbol of silence, right? A movement towards silence, so you can hear this better for yourself. I want you to hear the answer to this question for yourself, right? Who would you be if you believe you were enough? What would you do if you believe you were enough? Who would you be if you believed you were enough, right? What would you do if you believed you were enough? Who would you be if you believe you were enough? What would you do if you believe you were enough? Who would you be if you believe you were enough? And what would you do if you believe you were enough? I want to leave you with those questions and just let you think about that. And after you think about that, I'll let the audience open up for questions, and you can text that number that I've been saying throughout this show. You can text 732-359-2293 for to connect with me with any questions or comments you have about being enough. Okay? And thank you to the audience for asking questions. So we have a question from the audience. They ask, what difference have you noticed in your life by focusing on being enough? And I'm gonna restate that question as this: how is your life different by focusing on being enough? How is your life different by focusing on being enough? Okay, so how is my life different by focusing on being enough? My life is different because as I focus on being enough, it's made me clear that I can take chances to succeed and not be afraid of the failure I may get, because I realize that my enoughness is not dependent on any success, and it's definitely not dependent on any failure, right? Believing in my enoughness has made me more confident, and because I know that my confidence comes from God and not people or my successes or my shortcomings or any of that. It comes from the power God has given me to choose the type of life I want, to choose the type of character I want, right? So that is how my life is different. And to even go beyond the question, how is my life different before focusing on being enough? I think for me, when I was not focusing on being enough, and I did not put that power back in from myself, from the center of who I am and the purpose I came with, when I wasn't placing that feeling of being enough on the truth that I came with a powerful gift to heal, to contribute to people's well-being, to contribute to people's empowerment, to use what has happened to them, whether good or bad, as fuel to have the most abundant life they could. I used to choose being defeated. I used to choose being doubtful of my power and my voice. And I used to choose being confused whether I was worthy to the communities that I was serving. And that caused me to shrink in my power. And that caused me to doubt that God had a plan and a purpose for me all along. So I'm telling you that you really want to focus on being enough, and that enoughness is in you. It's not outside of you. So if you want to walk in your purpose, if you want to be powerful, you have to go back to yourself and to say to yourself, I had it all along, baby. I had it all along. I'm here, and I name myself as powerful. I name myself as conqueror. I name myself as the I name myself as an artist. I name myself as a teacher. I name myself as a healer. I name myself as a builder, um, as a connector, as a hoper, as someone who changed the world with my voice and my ideas and my passions, right? Because going back to what I said earlier, you can choose the type of life you want. And that starts with what you tell yourself about what is possible in life. So I want to leave you all with that. Thank you so much for that amazing question, audience member. And please continue coming back every week, this same time at 8:30 on Fridays, to see Freedom Fridays with the Freedom Doctor, Roman Johnson. That's all for now. Have a good one. Bye.